Hi, you beautiful people. My name is Honest Am. I am the editor-in-chief of the Honestly Sis newsletters, and I am here for another installment of the How to Make a Change series. We are nearing the end. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know, for some reason I'm a little nervous about doing this part, probably because it's talking about love and I'm kind of going through something, so just bear with me. I just hope I don't just break down in tears. All right, guys, so if you have not seen the previous three series, I just tell you, just pause, go back, watch the other two, because they really build upon themselves. Last week or last time you guys watched this, we left off on and being inside of the desert. And now I'm going to really kick off with me. Take that back, guys. Okay. So tonight, what I am going to talk about, and not tonight or today, whenever the hell you watch this, what I am going to talk to you about is being inside of the desert. We are going to learn from the Englishman. Remember, he was the guy who got in the carnival and he just had like all these shit tons of books and he was always reading, and the shepherd was just like, what is he doing over there? We're also going to talk about when delays happen, getting inside of the Oasis, finding your Fatima. So that's what we're going to talk about. What does love mean on this How to Make a Change, trying to find your dream journey. And then we are going to finish up tonight with talking about the languages of the world, aka the soul of the world, and how does the world work and how does it try to communicate with you. Let's really quickly, let's do some very quick ground rules. One, I always have my handy dandy notes here, just to try to help me, keep me on track. Two, I may mispronounce some words. I may say some things wrong. If it doesn't stop Charlemagne God, it damn sure is not going to stop me. I have some incense and sage blowing. So if you see any type of smoke going, that's probably what it is. Nothing is on fire. Last but not least, I am not a therapist. I am not any of that stuff. Like, I'm not certified to do this. I'm just a girl chilling in her room, just passing on the information that I learned that has been helpful for me. And all of this information is based off of The Alchemist. I just really truly if you are serious about making a change or trying to finally go after that thing that you always been thinking about, I'll really say this is something that you should always keep by you and keep near you. As you see right now, it's right here. It's by my bedside. Like, this is always something I can always just go back to. I can literally just flip open the pages and find something that that I probably need to read. So that is that. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Let me just say, I feel a little all over the place. I've been chilling a lot, so if my energy is just not where it is, just know that it's Memorial Day. I've been chilling in the bed, watching She's Gotta Have It all day. It is so fucking good, by the way. Spike, you did that. You fucking did that. Anyways, watching She's Gotta Have It all day. I honestly, if you guys, Spike can get crazy, but I really feel like Spike did it this season. Like, I have been crying and getting the feels, and I don't want to stop watching it, but then I don't want to like finish it because I'm like, damn, it's gonna be over. But it is really such a good series. I feel loved, appreciated, honored to be an artist at this time, and I'm just happy to be working towards something that can contribute to the world. So if you are, again, thinking about making a change, go watch She's Gotta Have It and just really see what it means to go after something and to have your life stand for something that's greater than you, and what can happen when you dedicate your life that way. Yep, that's all I got. All right, so starting off with learning from the Englishman. So like I told you guys before, this Englishman, he was just the type of guy, like, kind of like me. He had books on him at all times. He always was looking into a book, and the shepherd was just kind of like, like, what are you doing? And he said that he was studying to be an alchemist, and he was studying to be an alchemist, which is the process of turning anything into gold. So the shepherd got really interested and was like, hey, yo, like, can I read some of the books? And when he was reading it, he was just realizing that even though it seemed very complicated, he felt like he understood understood the whole process of alchemy within 3 words, and he just realized like maybe the Englishman was taking things a lot more serious than what it needs to be. But I feel like the Englishman signifies us people that gets into school. Like I always talk about it because haha, that was me. But the Englishman is somebody who just solely relies on his education and the books and what he can say science can prove. But we see later on when this Englishman, he finally do meet this great grand alchemist, and the first thing that the alchemist do is tell him to try. Like, I feel like the Englishman in this book was to signify that it doesn't matter how much you have learned, it don't matter how much you have studied, at some point you have to stop gathering information and you have to start applying it to your life. Take, for example, earlier this year, I kind of came to this point where I said, you know what, you're not going to buy another fucking self-help book, another fucking leadership, how to be at the top book until you start applying the information that you already know. And I think that's what we have to, at some point along your change journey. Like, let's go back to, say, for example, you want to be the next Ava DuVernay and you want to make films and you are researching how to make a script and what all of the components of a script are. You have looked at some different type of scripts. You have read, you did all the work. At some point, you have to stop. Like, you have to stop doing research, because at some point your research becomes just another excuse for you to not do the work. Like, for example, when I was doing my book, like, I love researching it. Like, I love, I can get deep down into it and keep researching and figuring out, looking up different Greek gods, and then I say, oh, maybe not this Greek guy. Or say, for example, I have this one character who I keep changing her name 5-6 times. Now I can just keep looking every single time, keep looking, finding different meanings and trying to find different names, or I can just pick a name and just keep going. The moral of the story is, no matter how much you learn, no matter how much information you accumulate, at some time you have to take that information that you have accumulated and apply it to said thing. So the thing about the Englishman is that we don't want to get so reliant. Another thing was the Englishman was so tied to his books that he lost his sense of listening to his intuition. Now, I think I spoke to this, I can't tell you what part it was, but I can't tell you how important it is to listen to your intuition, to listen to your internal compass, your God, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. Because it truly is like, it's a compass. Like, it helps you. It's trying to guide you because it knows where you're trying to go. And if sometimes I think that's why it's so important to get into flow, because we can get so caught. Let me just take again my life, for example. I've been working on my book for 5 years. And every time that I'm working on this book, I have always been trying to either apply for some type of scholarship, been trying to apply for some type of retreat, or just like, I've been doing all of these other things except for working on my book. Like, recently I was like looking for other jobs. Like, I've done all these things. And at one point I even thought I was going to get this job, and it didn't happen. And literally, I was earlier this year, if you are a part of Honestly Sis, you know that I talked about wanting to get into the Jack Jones retreat and how I was putting all my energy and all my focus into it, and I did. And I put together a package that I was really, really proud of, and I didn't get it. And honestly, like, it wasn't even like I broke down and cried. Like, I kind of just like, damn, like, dang, like, I really thought I had that. I really thought that what I submitted was good work. And what I realized was that I have been trying to think 5 steps ahead instead of just being at the stage that I'm in. At no point since I have had the conception of my book have I ever just solely focused on working on my book. It has always been trying to plan out 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. So what happened to me was, instead of me like having this big breakdown, or me being like, why am I not good enough, or why didn't they pick me, or like hating on, or like all that other bullshit that just takes energy and put it elsewhere, what I realized was, I said, damn, obviously God is like, God is trying to get my attention. He's trying to show me that I don't know better than him. Like, I keep getting all of these rejections. Like, I keep getting all of these no's, all of these doors slammed in my face. Maybe I should listen. Maybe he's trying to show me something and I am not allowing it to happen. So I'm kind of at this point where I'm not applying, and I'm not doing it in a place of, my mindset is not a place of where I'm like, they're rejecting me, so I'm not fucking applying nowhere. It's like, no, like I feel like I'm trying to force it, and I don't want to force anymore. And so instead of trying to force the situation, I am stepping back. I am going to work on the task at hand, i.e. my book, i.e. Honestly Sis, i.e. you know, finishing up these series, because these are things that have been placed on my heart. And then I am going to wait until I get, until God delivers or bring opportunity to me. I pray and I said, God, if there's something that you want me to do, I want you to make it as plain as possible. Like, I don't want it to be me trying to do it. Like, I want to know that it's from you. And I asked for a sign, and I got several signs. Like, I got, a very small thing, and this is talking about like maybe this when we get to languages of the world, but it was this Bikram. I've been wanting to get back into hot yoga, but it's expensive, but I also really like the yoga that I do at my job. So it's like, I knew that I didn't want to pick either or. So I was waiting for the studio that I go to do the hot yoga. Like, I was waiting for them to have specials, because typically they always have specials. Well, for whatever reason, like, they have not been having any specials. Like, and the funny thing is, I talked to my coworker about it, because me and her do yoga together, and I was just like, damn, like, I really want to get back into hot yoga, but like, they really have not been having any specials lately. Like, this is weird. And so I had like that Friday, this is literally not last week, but the week before last. That Friday, like, I was just feeling like, you know, I was feeling sad. I was getting tired. You know, that happens on the journey. And I kind of just prayed. Like, I kind of had a breakdown moment. It was just like, look, God, I need you to like help. Like, I need something to change. I need some change. Like, I need to feel some movement, because it feels like I'm trying very hard and nothing is happening. And I know that you love me, and I know that you are showing me these signs, but I'm not feeling it. So can you please show me that you hear me, and that you're helping me, and that you're guiding me, and like, just help, like, let me feel good for a minute. And literally that Monday, I woke up to the studio that I've been waiting for them to have this special. They opened up this program to where they do an energy exchange program. So instead of paying for it, I can get yoga and receive and pay for it another type of way, i.e. my energy. So that made me realize that, again, that was more confirmation for me that maybe the answer that I was asking God to give me this job, to give me this, give me some, I was just asking God to get me I was asking God to get me out of my current job. And I was just trying to apply all of these other places just because I didn't want to be in my current job anymore. And it's like, how do you know, like, it's something so much greater out there? Like, I just had to like just chill out and just focus on this. And like, when I got the Bikram thing, I was just like, yes, like, now I know, like, that's all I wanted to do. Like, I kept talking to my friends about it. Like, I just want to do like some eat, love, pray type shit. Like, all this summer, I just plan on doing yoga, writing, and that's it. Like, and eating. Eat, love, yoga. Cuddy, what are you doing? No, my dog is crazy. Okay, so that's what it is about learning from the Englishman. So the two things that I want you to get from learning from the Englishman is that you don't want to get so tied into looking at your books and looking for that book knowledge that you forget that you have to actually apply the shit that you are learning. Then another thing that happened while they were in a desert was the shepherd talked to this guy who was a camel driver. Now, unlike the crystal shop worker, this camel driver, he went to Mecca, he realized that dream, he had this garden, but he kind of got complacent in his garden and he wasn't going to leave his garden. And then this storm came and he no longer had this garden. And instead of being like so upset and so stuck in the place that he lost his garden, he became this camel driver, and now he gets to see something totally different. So that leads us right into these delays and delays and rejection and loss, and like how that really could be blessing in disguise. So as they are in the desert, they get the sign that there's wars going on, and they have to end up going into the carnival because like these wars are getting so bad and they don't want to get killed. So the carnival is, I mean, the Oasis is pretty much like this safe space. So they go to the Oasis, and the Englishman is kind of pissed because he's like, man, like I'm just like, I need to get where I'm trying to go. Like I want to be, actually, I think the Englishman, that's where he was trying to go. Like now he's like, okay, now I got to find the alchemist. Whereas like for a minute, the shepherd was kind of upset that he was delayed. But then he was like, you know what? Well, let me see what this is about. So he goes out and he starts exploring. Now, the hidden message and the hidden gem in that is that sometimes God has you go through these delays and go through these losses because he has something that is greater for you. Just like I told you guys, like there was this job that I thought was really, really good for me that I didn't even know was a possible job for me. And I thought I was going to get it and I didn't get it. This retreat, I thought that I was going to get it and I didn't get it. But let me tell you guys, so that same day, that Monday when I woke up and I got that thing, you know, I found out about the hot yoga. I go and I just call off work because I'm not feeling it. Like I think we have to be honest about if we are feeling good and if we are not feeling good. And sometimes like, and this is, I'm not proud to say this, but sometimes my job is, it drains on my energy so much that sometimes I just have to take a personal day because I'm like, I need to protect my energy. And actually on that day, it wasn't even a matter of me just not wanting to go in. It's just, I had a whole bunch of personal stuff that I had to do. So I was like out doing errands, and like, I went to the grocery store and I'm like doing all these things. And I stop and I get a pizza. Now mind y'all, I'm trying to get my, like, I'm not trying to lose weight, but I'm trying to like work on my eating and like eating better and really try to limit eating, you know, like fast food and like shit like that. Like I've just really been trying to be mindful of it, not being super strict, but just being more mindful of it. But like, I don't know, for some reason, I don't know if y'all like this, but for some reason, every time I go grocery shopping, like instead of just being like, I'm gonna make something that I got, I always have to be like, okay, but I want to eat right now. So I have to always go buy some food to eat right now. So I stopped and got me a hot and ready. Mind you, this is on a Monday. It was at 12. So this was a fresh ass hot and ready. Like it was so good. I went ahead, got the extra $2, got the butter and parm on it. Like it was popping. I was ready. Now, I live in an apartment, so like, and it's not like one of those apartments where like my car is like right outside, like it's a building. So it's like I park in the parking and then I have to walk in. So I am like, I have this decision to make. Like, okay, am I going to go take my groceries up first and then come back and get the food, or either way it went, I had to come back downstairs. So let me just say that right there. But no, being me, being impatient, I'm like, I don't want to keep coming back outside, so I'm going to do both of them. So I grab my groceries and I grab the pizza and I'm just heading upstairs. Mind, I don't even know where this gust of wind come from. Out of nowhere, I've never, it's so funny. The lid to the pizza box like opens up, and then the next thing I know, like the whole pizza just flies the fuck away. Like, it's literally a box of pizza that I still don't even know where it went. Like, when I went back outside, it was like some pieces on the floor, but it was like, I still don't know where the box went. So I was just like, okay, so I'm irritated right now. Like, I'm like shaking mad. Like, I'm dropping my grocery bags. This man asked me, do I need some help? And I'm like, no, I don't need no fucking help. Like, I'm like irritated for real, for real. So my dog is going to get groomed because remember I told you errands and priorities. So I finally come back downstairs with my grocery bag because of course I'm going to get this pizza up. And as I go back downstairs, I see these birds and they are like fucking this pizza up. Like it's like a group of them just all eating the birds. And like literally in that moment, it was like God showed me like your rejections, like all of these things that you think that I was taking from you or I was keeping from you, like they really were other people's blessings. And I really had to like check myself and be like, like you wanted to get this job not because you want to really be a part of this online be a part of this online magazine or because that's your dream. No, you just want it because you don't want to work at your job anymore. Like you didn't, and I realized that my intentions for wanting these things, it had nothing to do with just actually attaining the things. It was what I thought it was supposed to make me feel, or it was because I thought that it was going to save me from my job. And like I realized like how selfish of you. Like you really would have took an opportunity from somebody that somebody had worked their whole life for. And I immediately was just like, my rejections or my letdowns are somebody else's blessing. Like I got that lesson right there as the birds are tearing up my pizza. Mind you, like the pizza is fresh. Like, I'm still kind of pissed. Like I'm like, okay, whatever. But I end up like taking the pizza crust and like giving it to the birds. But that just really, and another thing it let me realize was that it's like, why are you rushing? Like the fact that I knew that I had to go back downstairs because I had to pay this money so that I can get a new key. Like I knew I had to go back downstairs. So it's like, why do you always feel like you have to rush to do everything? Like you, instead of just taking your groceries upstairs, coming back downstairs and getting your pizza and you could have been good, you just felt like you had to do it all in that moment, all because you didn't want to come back downstairs, even though you had to go back downstairs anyway. So it just made me just like in that moment, like that one incident had me those two very valuable lessons. And that's why I say I'm not about to keep coming out there looking for these opportunities, because what I realize is that I don't want to work for anybody for real. Like, I don't like answering to people. I don't like working for people that I don't feel like are smart. Like, I'm realizing it's about myself, and I realize that like what I want to do is unique. So what I want to do is unique. The way I want to go about it is very unconventional and it hasn't been done before. So that means it's going to take time. So I say all of that to say that as you're on your course of getting these changes, or say you're trying to make this transition into another career and it's not happening, be mindful. Like, stop thinking that everything is against you, or like God is not helping you out. Like, maybe it's you trying to force the situation when you should be trying to just flow. I hope that helps and that didn't like get everybody lost. All right, finding your Fatima. So I'm kind of nervous to doing this section, so it's probably not going to be very long, because I have a rule of thumb that I don't want to talk about things with convictions that I don't really know about, and I'm not learning it for myself, or that I have not started practicing it and incorporating it in my life. Like, I'm still learning it. But the shepherd finds Fatima in the midst of his delay. And if he was to keep this attitude of being irritated and would have stayed where he was at and like, when we leave, he never would have found Fatima. But because he took on this attitude of embracing his delay and taking it as a blessing and just being like, well, what am I supposed to learn here? Let me explore. He ends up finding this woman who really he just quickly falls in love with her. And like, he falls in love with her so much that at one point he's kind of just like, well, do I need to find this treasure? Like, do I need to like go out here and do this thing? And I love, like, she tells him like, look, I'm a woman of the desert. Like, you need to go do your thing. I'm going to be here. And I think that that's the attitude that we all have to take on when it comes to love. Like, I always used to think that, and I think women, we just typically like fall victim to this. But I always thought that, you know what, I'm not even gonna say women, I'm gonna speak for myself. I used to always think that I had to choose between being successful and being married. I was in relationships in my past where I can tell like the guy was like intimidated because of who I was, and like I would downplay it. I remember one time like I ended up not wanting to get a job that I really wanted to get this job because the guy was just like, oh, you're gonna be in DC for the summer? And I really was like, oh no, I can't be in DC for the summer because then I can't be with him. Like, so being so, you know, that's just young stuff. But what I realized is that, and Lauren said this at Nipsey's funeral, was that you can't possess people. You can only experience people. And I think a lot of and rightfully so, like, you know, I hate to say it, but slavery, like, you know, that shit is in our genes, like no matter what, like it's embedded in us. And I think because we've had so much, so many of our families like kind of torn apart and, you know, violently upended, that we start to look at these things and think of chains and think of you, in order for you to have a successful marriage, that means that somebody needs is no longer getting met. Like, look at Fences, for example. We had Viola, who wasn't doing shit, and like she said, I've been standing in the same place with you, but back in that time, like that was just a given. Like, you don't have a life outside of your husband. You just, you know, you provide for your family. But luckily we are moving into this area where we recognizing, in order for our mothers to be the best that they need to be, that they also need to be a fully realized person. So I had a very narrow view of what I thought love was supposed to be. I looked at commitment as possession. I looked at commitment as, ownership, like you belong to me. But love is not supposed to be that way. Like, love is actually freedom. Like, love is accepting somebody any type of way. I remember a long time ago, maybe not a long time ago, but it was a while ago, Jada said that she didn't care like what Will did and what, you know, she didn't concern herself on if Will was to cheat on her, because she said that he had to decide for himself. Like, can you look in the mirror at yourself if you cheat on me or if you have this affair? Like, that's a thing that you have to have within yourself. And I think a lot of people are like, oh shit, they definitely swingers and blah, blah, blah. But I think that that's just an evolved way to love. I remember I used to be very fearful of the idea of like my partner like going on, and like I used to always, like, I remember I'm going through a breakup right now, so this is actually perfect. Like I'm just learning a lot of my flaws and the way that I view relationships. And like my partner, he's also a creative, and it used to make me feel insecure when he didn't include me in his plans. But that's very selfish, like to be like, well, where do I fit in your 5-year plan? It's like, bitch, where is your 5-year plan at? Like, and honestly, the funny thing is, the gift that my ex gave me is that he allowed me to realize that love is freedom. Like, he allowed me, and I'm not even gonna say he allowed me, but he showed me like what true love is. And it's just allowing your partner to just be whoever the fuck they are and just loving them for that. Like, we used to joke all the time, and he'd be like, I feel like I dated like 5-6 different girls with you, because I just used to be like, okay, so I'm into this now and I'm into that now. And he literally just embraced every single change in every single stage. And I think that it took me a long time to understand that loving somebody is allowing them to, you know, spread their wings wherever it may go, even if it's out of state, and even if it's, you know, it can't include you. I think that we have to love people beyond that. I'm listening to A Return to Love, and like for some reason, like this book, this is the beautiful thing about the universe. You can literally open your mouth and ask the universe a question. Like right now, you can pause this video, ask the universe a question, and watch the answer come to you. So again, like I have been struggling with, like, I finally realized that the reason why I am still at my job is not because, you know, yeah, it is because there are some skill sets, there is information that I'm going to use along my journey, but the true the true blue reason why I'm at my job is to learn contentment no matter where I am. Like, I need to learn how to be I need to learn how to be content and to manifest from any area. Like, the thing is, like, we think that, and I hope that you are learning throughout this series, is that trying to make a change or trying to get somewhere, that's not the destination. Like, we can't just be like, okay, when I become that doctor, I'm going to be happy. Or when I lose 10 pounds, then I'm going to be happy. No, like, you have to be happy now and then keep being happy and love your way all the way up to it. So for me, that's why I changed my mind state of being like, of keep thinking I have to get this position. It's like, no, I need to find contentment in where I am today. Like, I need to find contentment in having to get up and go to this job every morning and figuring out a way to rise above it and to bring my vibration to where I want my wishes in my life to be. So that is my task. That is the part of my journey. And if I embrace that and stop trying to fight against it, I probably could get through it a lot quicker. I say all that to say that when you find somebody that you feel like they get you, and I feel like you know instantly, like when you find somebody, especially women, I feel like you know instantly when you find a guy that gets you. I swear, when I found my ex, there was literally a moment where when we were talking, like there was no other sound. Like, it felt like we were like in our own little world. And it felt like that, like, for a long time. Like, every time we would talk, it would just feel like we would just fall into like our own private world. And then we had like so many like supernatural occurrences together. I just feel like, you know. But I think because we know, we feel like we have to force it and we feel like we gotta make it happen. But just the fact that you know, that's all you need to know. Like, I think we have to love, and love is not restriction. You have to love and free somebody. So when you are making these changes and when you are thinking about going after your dream and you think about, oh, well, shit, does this mean I'm not gonna find somebody? Or what does this mean about me and my partner? Like, the first thing is you have to communicate. Like, you see that when he talked to her and told her like what he was thinking, she quickly was like, you are crazy. Now, just imagine if he just gave up on his dream, never had this conversation with her, and then he would have eventually got bitter and been upset and been like, damn, girl, I could have had my treasure. And she would have like, what are you talking about? I'm a woman of the desert. I don't care where you go. I'm gonna be good. So like, I think that if you are thinking about making a change and you are worried like, hey, what does that mean for my relationship? Then that's definitely something that you should talk to your partner about. Another thing is, I think that the reason why so many of our families are screwed up and the reason why that we have this discombobulation is because so many of the women felt like, in order for me to make my family be the best that it needs to be, I need to deny myself and do this thing. But actually, in order to be the best woman and to be the best mom, is that your kids need to see a full version of you. Like, your kid, like, you may think that you trying to act like you're super mom and like you can handle everything and nothing is getting to you and life is peaches and cream and you can lie to your kids all you want, but eventually they're going to see that you're just human. So I think that the best way that we can be better mothers and we can be better pillars and leaders of our community is by first pouring into ourselves and making sure that we are whole. When it comes to anything, like, I just feel like that is what Fatima is about. She represents that love is not a restriction. She represents that if you have that conversation, if you communicate with your partner, that you may surprise yourself and your partner may be like, you tripping. You don't have to not go after your dream. I'm gonna be here and I'm support you anyway. Last thing, the languages of the world. I really hope, sorry guys, that's my sage. I really hope I'm not all over the place, guys. I feel a little I don't know, I feel a little nervous about this section. I'm gonna read this, but I'm gonna go listen to it again. If it does not make any sense, then I promise I will not give it to you. But if I listen to it, I'm like, there's some pretty good stuff in here, and then fine. So the languages of the world. So as he's in the Oasis, he goes back out in the deserts, and because he sees the alchemist, and the alchemist like pretty much tells him that he's ready to go do this journey, and he goes, and maybe I may get this mixed up, but anyway, so he's in the desert, and he pretty much goes and see that these two doves are fighting, and it pretty much ends up being like this sign that there's going to be war in the Oasis. And so he tells, who did he tell? Hold on. Gotta go to my big notes. Hold on. Okay, so the shepherd warns the village. Okay, so you have a vision of the hawks, and the shepherds, oh, the seer. So then he sees he sees a seer, and he tells the seer about the vision. And the seer tells him to forget about the future and pay attention to the present. The seer told him that God will occasionally reveal the future to someone, but only if it can be rewritten. And if it is. Good. I believe I will. Okay. Anyways. Don't get lost in my notes. So anyways, he sees this vision. The seer tells him that, you know, God only gives people glimpse of the future is when he wants them to try to change them. So pretty much the seer tells him that he has to go tell these villagers that this war is coming. So he goes and tells these people that this war is coming. And when he tells them this, they say, like, who are you? And like, why would the desert speak to you? Like, who are you to know the languages of the world? Blah, blah, blah. So he says, well, whatever, like, I believe it, and this is what's going to happen. So they pretty much said, like, well, we're going to listen to you, but if you are wrong, then we're going to kill you. So, of course, he's right. He's end up celebrating, and again, he gets this great big reward. Now, I think all of that was to say that God is going to, sometimes God, like, say for example this, I have this ability to see beyond words, like to just to truly try to like grasp like lessons, valuable life lessons out of literature, out of movies, out of television shows. Like, it's just something that I have. And so I had this idea of, I realized like when I was reading The Alchemist, like, I don't know, like I look at it, I'm like, damn, like this is a really good guide to try to make a change. And like slowly but surely, like the sections and like how to come about it start coming to me. But a small part of me was just like, remember, I thought I had to do it on IGTV, and I was just like, well, like I never thought I was going to do a YouTube channel. I was like, well, okay, well, I'll just throw this up on IGTV. It's not going to be that big of a deal. It turned to find out you can only do 10 minutes. So then it became my first YouTube video. I say all that to say that, like, that's how God operates. Like, he gives you whisper, he gives you a sign, because he wants to see like if you are going to follow through. Let me get some water. And you have to be willing to like die on, like, to not to die, but like how far are you going to go on your convictions? Like, people, it's this joke that says that this guy, he was on this boat and the boat was drowning, and he's like, God, please save me. God, please save me. And then like these lifeboats came up, and like they were like, come on, get on. And he like, no, like I'm waiting for God. And then eventually he drowns, and he says to God, like, well, God, why you ain't save me? He's like, well, I sent you 2 boats. Like, I think that we always think that God is gonna, like, the thing that we're supposed to do is gonna sound loud, or it's gonna be this big aha spotlight moment, but it's really just these small whispers. It's really just these nudges. It's really just that idea of, oh, well, you've always been interested into yoga, or like you keep hearing yoga and you're like, maybe I should go to yoga. And then you go to a yoga class And there's something about the movements, it's something about the postures that feel very familiar to you. And so you keep doing it. Or so you keep getting these intuitions, or you start looking at videos on YouTube and then something is telling you like, hey, you should go get some tarot cards. And then you start picking up tarot cards and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I can read these. That is how God works. That's the languages of the world. That's the soul of the world. It's one thing after another. It's like, are you going to follow these breadcrumbs to greatness? Another thing is that I think God, if you are, that's why I say ask a question. So recently I learned like from YouTube is that her name is Aluna S. Shout out to her. You can say God, because you can't like say people always say, oh, say affirmations, but say if you're not feeling it, like you don't want to get a universe mixed signals. So say earlier this week, I was just like, God, please show me the support that I have for Honestly Sis. Like, please show me the support I have for Honestly Sis. And literally 2 people came to me with 2 totally different ideas to help expand Honestly Sis. Just like that same day. So what you can start doing is just saying like, God, please allow me to feel love, or God, if you want me to, if there's something that you want for me to do, please reveal it to me. But the thing is that you have to, when these ideas, or say you'll meet somebody, or say somebody just randomly like, hey, you know, these people having classes over here. Like the thing is you have to act on it. So God will speak to you through people. God would speak to you through YouTube. He would speak. God, he will use anything and anybody to get a message across from you. Like, so whenever you hear something and you get that little, like it don't, and maybe like if you have been in church, you may consider that, you may remember this feeling like you'll be in church and a pastor will be talking and you just like, damn, this feel like it's for me. You can get that outside of church, and 9 times out of 10, it is for you. Another way is that angel numbers. So say that like the Jordan Peele, he just did the 1111 and 333, 555. Like those are, if you go look those different numbers up in the if you go look those different numbers up on the internet, you'll see that they all have a different meaning, and those are called angel numbers. And sometimes they can be angel numbers, sometimes they're portal exits. Like they can mean all types of different things depending on what you believe in. But I like to use them because I like to use them as angel numbers. So like I always think about like what I'm thinking about when I see the number, and then like especially recently it's kind of been like so spot on. So like say for example, I could be thinking like, you know, somebody that I've worked with in the past, but I might not necessarily feel like we had the best working relationship. They approached me for something and I'm not really sure about it. And then I'll see an angel number and then I'll go look it up. And then an angel number is saying, be open to new opportunities with people. You know, like, so stuff like that. Like, that's one way to look at it. And angel numbers do not always have to be 555, 333. They can be 1234, 1234. They can be 808. They can be 800, threes. They can be 330, 311, 511, 711. Like, if you ever look at your clock, or you're in your car and you see a number sequence and it's just kind of like gives you this feeling, just Google it just to see like it, because that could be an angel number right there. So that's another way. That's a language of the world. Birds, there's a lot in different cultures. If you see a certain type of bird, like, so if you see a cardinal, if you see a robin, like all of these different type of birds are to signal things. Like, people think that because we are not, and like because we are kind of in a modern society, that the languages of the world no longer exist, but they do. Like, that's what Oprah always says, that you should listen to your life, look at the clues of your life, because if you do, your life is always giving you like kind of hints and letting you know like where you should kind of go. And that is it. Like, that's all I have for this part, from learning from the Englishman. So making sure that we don't get so caught up in obtaining information that we do not actually apply it, to entering the Oasis, knowing that sometimes our delays and pitfalls are actually God's way of setting us up for our one of our biggest rewards. The signs of finding our Fatima, realizing that love is not supposed to be a restriction, or realizing that, you know, if you do want to make a change and you're not sure about how your partner will feel about it, the first thing that you should do is have a conversation with your partner. But then to always remember that life is a single person journey, and that you have to be willing to go after your dreams no matter what. And last but not least, the languages of the world. Knowing that God can speak through anybody, any person, any song. Like, say, for example, you may be, literally this happened to me. And I say this all the time because I just want y'all to realize that it doesn't have to be this like big scary thing. But the other day, I was like sitting, I was getting ready I was waiting for my bus. And like randomly out of nowhere, Coming of Age just came on my headphones. And like I was listening to it, and at first I was like, at first I was like, man, that's kind of strange that song will come on. Didn't pay it any mind. But then when I went back and I started listening to the lyrics of it, I was just like, oh, that's a message. So like stuff like that happens. Like it's just, and it was pretty much just saying like, you know, be patient, be diligent, like stop trying to, it's a one part in there, Jay say, you get that, he's like, it's not, you let your shit bubble slow. Like, don't worry about trying to get all this attention. Like, it's going to come. Like, just work. And I think that was further confirmation that, instead of trying to like make these opportunities happen for myself, to just trust that the universe is going to provide for me. And I just got a card when I was just pulling, but I wasn't sure, so I'm not gonna take it. So yeah, so like that is how the languages of the world work. So we're gonna go here. Spirit, is there anything that you want us to know, our Honesty Sis TV listeners? Anything for anybody that's trying to make a change, please make it as plain as possible. In Jesus' name, we pray. Actually, I'm not gonna take that because I feel like, okay, I feel like I should have took that first card, but it is okay. So let's try this one more time. Spirit, ancestors, guides, I just come to you today, as humbly as I know, to just thank you for giving me this information. Now I ask that as I end this video, that if there is any messages that you have for anybody, that you please just make it as plain as possible. Whew. Thank you in advance. All right. All right. I got 3. I think I am going to take, I am a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. You live in a pulsating, vibrating universe of advanced harmonics. Everything that exists in your air, in your dirt, in your water, and in your bodies is vibration in motion, and all of it is manageable by the law of attraction. There is nothing that exists outside of this vibrational nature. And as you learn to accept your vibrational nature and begin to consciously utilize your emotional vibrational indicators, you will gain conscious control of your personal creations of the outcomes of your life experience. You live in a pulsating, vibrating universe of advanced harmonics. So that was just pretty much going to tell you what I said at the end. Like, you don't have to, you never have to worry about trying to get something or trying to force your way into something just by you being a vibrational being. When I literally just posted this video on my IG page at Honestly Am, where Oprah was saying that if you have the want, you have the want, say that your want does not meet the vibration that you're at, you raise your vibration to meet your want, and then it'll come to you. My intention to unwanted attracts more unwanted. Be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of what you're thinking about. And I am developing the skill to direct my thoughts. Those are the 3 things that came out. All right, guys. That is what I am going to leave you guys with today. I hope that this video, and look at this. Also, just because I just wanted to see, ooh, and these 2 things came out. We moving forward, guys. The chariot means forward movement. Let's all move forward. This is the season that we are in. You can either choose to be desolate and choose that you don't have any control of your life. You can live in this area feeling like you are without and with lack, or you can recognize that you are a vibrational being. You can recognize that the more that you pay attention to what you don't want, you're going to get what you don't want. You can learn to direct your thoughts, and you can start moving to a better place. I hope that this video bless you guys. The next video will be the last video of the series. If you got to the end of this video, please tell me your biggest takeaway. As always, go check out Honestly Sis. Go dive into our archive section. Until we meet again, be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. But most importantly, protect your peace. Namaste. See you guys again another day. Bye. I never know how to end these videos. I suck.